Oh, hello. Don't be shy.
Come and knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door. Another visitor's always welcome since, after all, Three's Company. That's something of the premise behind one of our favorite sitcoms of all time, Three's Company. What made this sitcom stand out was all the falling down. This show exemplified spot-on slapstick comedy, and show leader John Ritter was poised to lead the way. And despite the title, Three's Company actually had a pretty broad cast, from suspicious landlords to deceptive tenants. Apartment 201 always had some chaos going on. But what did this group get into after the show ended? I'm your host, Nostalgic Nick, here to answer just that. If you enjoy this cast rewind, please be sure to give it a big ol' thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our next episode. Without further ado, I think someone's at the door. John Ritter. Meet the clumsiest chef you'd maybe never want responsible for your food, Jack Tripper. True to his name, he wasn't the most coordinated, and John Ritter brought him to life. Being an energetic spark with a charming innocence that, quite honestly, is irreplaceable and unseen in most TV shows or movies. John had that star power, and so did his parents. His dad being the singing cowboy Tex Ritter, wildly popular for decades until his death, and his mother was actress Dorothy Faye, who was in westerns in the 30s and 40s, some with husband-to-be. John's acting break was 1970 in an episode of the Burt Reynolds and Norman Fell series, Dan August. 2 years later, he began a recurring character on The Waltons as Reverend Matthew Fordwick. Head on over to our Waltons deep dive for more on that legendary TV family. In the second episode of Three's Company, John Ritter closes it with a sly,
"Good night, John boy."
A little wink to the role that took him to the beginning of Three's Company. His goofy, accident-prone everyman Jack Tripper earned him a Golden Globe and an Emmy, and really resonated with audiences everywhere. After Three's ended, he created a production company that then produced his next big hit and critical acclaim, the series Hooperman in 1987. Ritter also had many movie successes, once again exemplifying his comedic timing in 1990's Problem Child.
It's a hardened prune.
He also portrayed one of the tormented children all grown up in the TV miniseries It. Ritter's final role led right into his tragic death, as he started feeling chest pain while on the set of his then-starring TV show, 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. John died just hours later, at the same hospital where he was born. Ritter was just 54. His 2 sons, Tyler and Jason, are also working actors, with Jason being a TV regular just like his dad. Joyce Dewitt.
Their minds start to wander, so do their hands.
Janet Wood was Jack's roomie for the entirety of the show, and had an eye for pretty things. An aspiring dancer who ended up as an intelligent florist. Janet was the perfect straight man to Jack's eccentricity. The Indiana native brought a calm reason to the chaotic apartment. Joyce actually refused to be shown bare-legged on the show, and although it angered producers, her commitment earned her an endorsement deal with Legs brand pantyhose. Three's Company came quite quickly in Joyce's career, and after it concluded, she stepped away from acting and traveled the world before settling in New Mexico. She's since returned to the stage with rare appearances on the screen. Outside of acting, in 2009, DeWitt was arrested for drunken driving in California. Today in her early 70s, she lends her efforts to charities helping the homeless and hungry. Suzanne Summers. It didn't take long for roommate Chrissy Snow to become a fan favorite. In fact, the ditzy secretary drew more and more viewers and was a great foil to both Janet and Jack. She was a gift to the show. No wonder she was named Christmas.
Because my dad said that I was the best present he ever got.
Chrissy became so popular that Summers, on the counsel of her TV host husband Alan Hamill, decided to ask for equal pay with Ritter. She demanded a slight pay increase from $30,000 an episode to $150,000, plus 10% ownership of the show's total profits. Too rich for the execs in charge, they declined. Summers then would often refuse coming to set, much to the dismay of Ritter and DeWitt. And at the end of a tumultuous season 5, where Summers was separately filming her scenes, Chrissy was written off the show and never mentioned again. Using her 80s success as the spokesperson for Thigh Master, she propelled herself back into an everyday TV role, leading the show She's the Sheriff. After 2 mediocre seasons, she would once again hit it big, with 1990's Step by Step, co-starring with Dallas's Patrick Duffy. Thankfully, Summers was able to patch up her personal relationship with John Ritter before his death. and she and Dewitt finally reunited on Summers' talk show. Today at 74 years old, she often gets into hot water with her promotion of alternative cancer treatments. Norman Fell. Stanley Roper was the old-fashioned landlord and always stuck his nose and finger where it didn't belong. With his quick banter,
maybe I need a better course to play on,
and ability to break the fourth wall, he eyed beachgoers more than his poor, frustrated wife. But hey, they had a lovely platonic relationship. Norman Fell got to tap into his experience as Mr. McCleary in The Graduate to capture Roper's hard-nosed attitude. His performance was part of what helped Three's Company create so many spin-offs. Fell continued the role in The Ropers for a short while. The contract for The Ropers included a reslotted role back into Three's Company if the spinoff failed to make one season. Unfortunately, The Ropers went 1.5 seasons, and Fell was permanently replaced. Luckily, Fell already had ample success before the show, one of my favorites being his part in Steve McQueen's Bullet. Three's Company was certainly his largest role in later years, but he was still acting up until his death at the age of 74 in 1998. Audra Lindley. Helen Roper was a riot, bickering with Mr. Roper about practically everything, especially when she can connect it to the absence of romance in their lives.
Oh, fix the doorbell, Stanley. It's time somebody's chimes were rung in this house.
Audra, along with Fell and Ritter, created a powerhouse comedy team. Her career started slowly in the 40s, but Audra had a big break in the 60s with her 5-year stint as manipulative Aunt Liz on the soap opera Another World. Modern audiences may recognize Lindley in another wildly popular sitcom, Friends, where she played Phoebe Buffay's grandma. Her final TV role was playing Sybil Shepherd's mother in the show Sybil, before she passed away in 1997 at the age of 79. Don Knotts. Everyone make way for the new landlord. Ralph Furley was the not-so-suave bachelor. Getting an experienced clown like Don Knotts to join the likes of Ritter's slapstick, the show somehow got even sillier. Before joining Three's Company, Knotts won 5 Emmy Awards as the iconic bumbling Barney Fife on The Andy Griffith Show. He'd rejoined the likes of Andy Griffith for 17 episodes of Matlock in the late 80s. Don was terrific in many projects, a standout being 1964's The Incredible Mr. Limpet. Knotts' humor knew no limits, and he caused his own daughter to burst out laughing while he was on his deathbed. He died in 2006 at the age of 81, a comedian till the very end. Jenna Lee Harrison. After Chrissy's departure, her cousin Cindy Snow moved in. Cindy shared the same intellect as Summers' character, but possibly not all the charm, as she was replaced in the apartment as well. After leaving Three's Company, Harrison nabbed another recurring role, joining the popular Dallas in 1980. And if you're a Dallas fan, we have a great in-depth video for you after this. Harrison hasn't acted since 2002, but if you were swayed into buying an ab flex or an ultimate chopper, it was likely you saw her on the commercial. Today, she's 62 years old and married to a Los Angeles chiropractor and ex-husband of actress Sybil Shepherd. Priscilla Barnes. Finally, some brains in apartment 201. Enter Terry Alden, a registered nurse. Terry was also blonde, but that's where the similarities stop, as she was a studious intellect and dedicated to her job. The plotline between her, Jack, and Victoria helped spawn the sequel, Three's a Crowd. After Three's Company, Barnes has worked non-stop. She was in Timothy Dalton's 1998 Bond movie, License to Kill. More recently, she played the character Magda in Jane the Virgin for 5 years. Today, in her mid-60s, she's still very active in the business, and we can't wait to see what she does next. Richard Klein. Larry Dallas was a used car salesman and Jack's girl-crazed best friend, who envied Jack's lodging arrangements with a little drooling. Larry had a good heart, and by season 4, Klein was such a fan favorite he had been added to the opening credits. Before Three's Company, Klein had a 3-episode stint on Maude as Tuggy McKenna, and he has been a frequenter on TV shows still to this day, most recently as Judge Angioli on the TV show Blue Bloods. Today, he's 76 years old and still acting on the stage and the screen, including being part of the 2020 film Love, Weddings, and Other Disasters, starring Diane Keaton. That was our entirely co-ed friendly visit to the apartment complex of Three's Company. Before you turn in your keys, let us know in the comments, with this cast shuffle, who was your favorite roommate and landlord? As a sitcom, Three's Company went from silly, absurd comedy to a lasting place in our hearts. John Ritter will go down as a comedic legend, and this is where he really found his footing. or slipped in it. If you enjoyed this cast rewind, remember to give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss a memory. From all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks for watching.